I was standing in my driveway, staring at my ruined tires, when I heard her screaming behind me that I should have followed the rules. 10 minutes later, police lights flooded the street, and suddenly, the woman who thought she owned my home was begging not to be arrested. Before all of this happened, my life was quiet, predictable, boring in the best way possible. I bought my home 5 years ago in what looked like the perfect suburban neighborhood. Clean sidewalks, trimmed lawns, families walking dogs in the evening, kids riding bikes without parents hovering every second. It was the kind of place where nothing ever really happened, and that's exactly why I chose it. Yes, there was an HOA, but at first it seemed harmless. A monthly newsletter, basic rules about trash cans and noise after 10, nothing extreme. I paid my dues on time, kept my yard neat, and never had a single complaint. I worked long hours, came home late most days, and spent my weekends fixing small things around the house or grilling in the backyard. I waved at neighbors, I minded my business, and most importantly, I stayed off the HOA's radar. Or at least I thought I did. Everything changed the day she noticed me. I first met her on a Tuesday afternoon. I just pulled into my driveway when I noticed a woman standing near my mailbox, arms crossed, tapping her foot like she'd been waiting. She was mid-40s, perfectly styled hair, oversized sunglasses, clipboard pressed against her chest like a weapon. The moment I stepped out of my car, she sighed loudly. "Excuse me," she said, already irritated. "Do you live here?" I blinked. "Yes, I own this house." She adjusted her sunglasses and looked me up and down. "Well, I'm on the HOA board, and we've noticed concerns." That word, concerns, was my first warning. She pointed at my driveway. "Your vehicle was parked slightly over the edge of the concrete this morning." I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. "That's a violation," she said sharply. "We like to keep things uniform." I calmly explained that my car was fully on my property and that I'd moved it already. She smiled, but not kindly. "This is just a warning," she said, "but we'll be watching." That was the first time I felt it. That tight feeling in your chest when you realize someone has decided you're their new project. Over the next few weeks, the notes started appearing. One taped to my door about my trash can being visible for 10 minutes too long. Another slipped into my mailbox accusing me of improper driveway use. Emails followed, passive-aggressive, condescending, always signed with her name. Every message ended the same way. Failure to comply may result in fines. I attended one HOA meeting to address it. She sat at the head of the table. When I calmly asked where these rules were written, she deflected. When I asked for proof of violations, she scoffed. When I asked why no one else seemed to get these notices, she smirked. "You're not being targeted," she said. "You're being corrected." That's when I knew this wasn't about rules. It was about control. I started documenting everything. Photos, emails, dates, times. Because deep down, I could feel it. This wasn't over. It happened early one morning. I walked outside, coffee in hand, half asleep, already thinking about work. I got into my car, backed out slowly, and then, pop, pop, pop. The sound was violent, sharp, immediate. The car lurched. I slammed the brakes and jumped out. That's when I saw them, metal spike strips laid perfectly across the end of my driveway. Not debris, not an accident. Placed, carefully. Deliberately, my tires were shredded. I stood there frozen, heart pounding, trying to understand what I was looking at. And then I heard clapping, slow, mocking. She was standing on the sidewalk, smiling. "I warned you," she said loudly. "Unauthorized driveway usage is not tolerated." My hands shook. "Are you insane?" I shouted. "You destroyed my car." She shrugged. "The HOA has authority." "No," I snapped. "You don't." She stepped closer. "You people never listen until there are consequences." That word again. Consequences. Neighbors started coming out of their houses. Phones appeared. She raised her voice. "This homeowner has repeatedly violated community standards." I looked at the spikes. "You could have killed someone." She laughed. That was it. I pulled out my phone and called the police. Her smile vanished. 2 officers pulled up within minutes. I explained everything, showed the documentation, the photos, the emails. She interrupted constantly. "I'm on the HOA board," she insisted. "This was necessary." One officer knelt to inspect the spikes. "These aren't warning devices," he said. "These are illegal." Her face went pale. She started backtracking. "I didn't mean, this is private property?" "Yes," the officer said calmly. "It is, and you trespassed." Then came the words she never expected to hear. "Turn around, put your hands behind your back." She screamed. Neighbors gasped. She tried to argue, to threaten, to name-drop lawyers and board members. None of it mattered. The cuffs clicked shut. As she was led to the squad car, she locked eyes with me. For the first time, there was fear. Pure disbelief. She honestly thought she was untouchable. The HOA fined me at first. Then the police report went through. Then lawyers got involved. Then everything unraveled. She was removed from the board. All fines were dismissed. The HOA sent me a written apology. And the neighborhood? Silent. No more notes. No more threats. Just peace. Here's the truth. People like her rely on intimidation. They expect silence. They expect fear. But the moment you stand your ground, document everything, and refuse to be bullied, their power disappears. She thought she controlled the neighborhood. Turns out, she didn't even control herself. And that day, standing in my driveway with ruined tires and shaking hands, I learned something I'll never forget. The loudest bullies fall the hardest when reality finally shows up in flashing blue lights.